What's up, YouTube? Dan the Jedi Man is back again with the game that is actually leaving, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This sequel looks better than the first and promises to expand on a lot of the gameplay from the previous game. The planets are supposed to be bigger and more varied, there's more techniques and saber styles, and more. So let's see how this game shapes up. Okay, so we get plopped down into an agonizingly slow intro with a ton of new characters, and Cal is clearly older. Apparently, there is a 5-year time skip from Game 1 to Game 2. And to get some of the story, you had to read a tie in book that came out that explains some of what happened. Yeah, that is not happening. So we go through, meet Bode, who I don't necessarily dislike him, but he seems untrustworthy. He might have our back now, but I'm expecting him to backstab us in the future. We get our hands on a new grapple hook tool that lets us zip to certain walls, and it's nice to see that most of our abilities from Fallen Order are here. We can already wall run, double jump, use several force techniques, use BD1 to zipline both up and down, open and interact with objects, and get the grapple hook to start off with. However, BD1 seems to have lost most of the stims we picked up from last game, lost the ability to hack robots, and Cal no longer has the ability to slow down enemies and objects at the push of a button. Instead, Cal can brainwash enemies to fight with us. The time slow has been relegated to essentially a super move. Charge up a gauge and then use it all at once, which is kinda lame. And for some reason, the game has to build up to allowing us to use the double blade saber, and we don't have access to dual wielding, at least right away. I also encountered my first glitch of many. This game must have been rushed or something, because so much is broken, like getting collectibles, using BD1, scanning with BD1, and even the platforming. There was one point towards the end where during a wall jump section, I got stuck in a wall out of bounds and couldn't get back in bounds, meaning I lost a fair amount of progress regarding mini bosses, puzzles, and collectibles. We also get introduced to a bunch of new people, none of whom were in Game 1 and who I don't care about in the slightest. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if most of them, if not all of them, died before we even left this tutorial area of Coruscant. Holy shit, that was fast. And as suspected, but not so much expected, Bitch Chungus is alive and looking for revenge. So we get our first boss fight, and get to the point where the game tries to switch up on us by adding in lightsaber stances. We can have two equipped at any given time, and each one offers different fighting styles. Dual wielding is now a full-fledged fighting option, not just super attacks anymore. This is simultaneously more freeing and more restricting, and some of the ideas for implementation aren't good. So, we take down Bitch Chungus and this time behead her, so there's definitely no way she's ever coming back. Then we need to bail from Coruscant, and basically the only survivors are Cal and Bode. Cal is shown to be basically alone. Marin, Bug-Eyed Bitch, and Grease are gone. And because the Mantis is in bad shape, we gotta go pay our buddy Grease a visit. Before we warp, I modify my saber and BD a bit, and see that we get some new colors to play with for the saber, including my beloved white saber, which I promptly equipped and never changed. White saber supremacy! So, we warp to the main planet of the game, Kobo. Kobo is extremely frustrating. Now, the planet is very big, but it feels extremely empty, if that makes sense. There's a ton of collectibles, but not much life or enemy variety. Although the enemy variety is better in this game than the previous one. So because of the scope, BD1 can now be used as binoculars, and kinda like Breath of the Wild, we can drop pins with the binocs or via the map. And the map shows us where to go to progress. There's still no mini-map or compass though, and we can only see the pins we place using BD1, which doesn't work as much or as well as it should. Kobo has several environments, but for the most part looks like somewhere in the American Midwest, like Montana. We make our way through the canyon, getting a trophy for investigating a target via the BD binocs, making our way arduously slowly through the canyon. We see that the lovable, talkative, and daft droids make a triumphant return as another standard enemy type. We also get introduced to the fact that a lot of enemies can now resist our force powers, so a lot of enemies can't be pulled, pushed, or brainwashed, which is a pain for some of the later, tougher enemies that are more annoying to fight. There is a trophy for pulling a resisting enemy and then parrying their attack. We can also find some friendly boglings here and there and get a trophy for petting one. First meme of trophy of many. We get to town, have a mini boss fight, and finally get to reconnect with Grease, who apparently lost an arm, and Cal feels guilty for it. We make sure to unclog the space toilet for a trophy and one of many collectibles we will need in the future. Proceeding on into the area filled with an annoying hazard of suffocating metal flakes, I netted a trophy for brainwashing an enemy into defeating the same type of enemy. Then we find out what is so special about this area. There's a Jedi saved in a Bacta tank. He has only one arm, but freeing him seems to be a mistake. We see him perform the bleeding ceremony to change his piss yellow saber to red and have to fight him. For a guy who's been out for who knows how long and also only has one arm, he puts up a hell of a fight. After this, we can start heading back and gain access to another semi-new power, Animal Friendship, though because of the green flash, it looks more like the Jedi brainwashing. We then pick up the Chocobo ripoff so that we can escape, but first we need to pretend to be Mario and Yoshi, and launch our mount into the abyss for a trophy, another meme one. The next trophy is a Persona 5 reference for sneak attacking 20 enemies.
You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes.
Yes, this is another meme trophy. With this, it's time to go see BEB again. So we're off to Jeddah, the only planet that might be worse than Kobo. Once we touch down, we need to go through some ruins to find the base we need to get into, and also meet up with an old friend. That's right, baby. Marin is back, and they gave her an awful haircut, but she is still hot and goth. We get another meme trophy from this meeting.
Be fine. I'm a survivor. We're a dying breed. I suppose you'll be wanting to hear my story.
What?
Then, by using Marin 10 times, and because we used Bode 10 times in combat, I got the only missable trophy of the game, which is another meme trophy. After some campfire cuddles and some more desert slogging, we finally arrive at the base and come face to face with someone else we thought had perished. Eno Cordova is apparently alive and well. How many damn Jedi survived Order 66?
Oh my god! You're still alive?
Shortly after, we have to deal with the next boss. This retarded ass door. Now, the first door that we find in this area that looks like this one, we just force push it to open it. For the life of me, I couldn't find a switch, nothing was glowing, no force attacks did anything, and I was convinced my game glitched again, so I saved and quit. I then go to the door again and get stuck. So I look up if I'm missing something. And it turns out in the wall close to where you walk in, there's a small ball you need to push that barely glows and barely stands out from the wall. This whole process feels like another loading screen, so I sincerely hope that whoever made this insanely retarded design and whoever approved it were swiftly fired and are no longer gainfully employed in regards to anything gaming. We then see that the bug-eyed bitch somehow got more bug-eyed and even uglier than the first game. I didn't think this was possible, but here we are with this monstrous abomination staring at us. How does she blink with her eyes like this? We then get our new stance, arguably the best in the game, the blaster stance. Saber in one hand, shooter in another. This finally gives us a decent ranged option, helps to melt bosses' guard meters, and chip away at enemies. This is the best stance in the game, hands down. So we then head to Kobo's moon to explore this pre-owned laboratory that is both futuristic and ancient. Here we get a bounty hunter fight with a guy who uses an old modified lightsaber. Once we beat him, we unlock the final stance, probably the second best stance in the game, Crossguard, aka Claymore style. Now, this looks cool, unlocks the dropkick attack, and can deal some massive damage. But why the hell does Cal act like this thing weighs like 60 space kilos? Isn't the point of lightsabers that they hardly weigh anything? And like, sure, there's resistance shown during combat or when the blade meets resistance, but why specifically is this one acting like it's so slow and heavy? When we finish here, we go back to Kobo again and make our way to the volcanic region. This area is full of annoying puzzles, and we have to make use of BD's new tool to make paths to break down the weird Kobo material. In this area, we also take down the first bounty hunter and get the meme trophy, Who Gives a Puck? And tootling around this area is easy to get a double whammy of meme trophies of Now This Isn't Pod Racing and Skywalker for traveling half a space kilometer and for keeping our feet off the ground and walls for 60 space seconds. Once we finish here, we need to get back to Jeddah for a long time. We travel with Marin and quickly get 2 new abilities. First, we get to a super windy section and get the ability to air dash, something I felt was missing but could never articulate, and this is sorely needed. Then, Marin gives us an upgrade that lets us dash through green shields, and, in one of the most cinematic moments of this game, helps us to take down the drill squid in a roller coaster set piece, which was kinda cool. And Cal finally kissed Marin. During this time, I also got 3 more meme trophies. Hey, look at us, Han Solo, and So Uncivilized, for giving Cal a cosmetic in each slot, defeating 50 slowed enemies, which is even worse than the first game, and for beating 10 enemies using the point-blank combat power. So we head back and then have to go to Kobo again, this time to the Black Swamp, because the funny ancient droid we found got herself kidnapped by Mr. One-Arm. We storm in here, and if you haven't gotten the trophy for using friend attacks, make sure you use Bode a lot here. This ends here with another fight against Mr. One-Arm, who has some new tricks, but isn't that bad of a fight. Once we wrap up here, we gotta go to the moon again to beat One-Arm's partner, the head of the Raiders. During this visit to the moon lab, there is a special moon cannon that is firing, so make sure that you have an enemy get vaporized by it for the meme trophy, This is Canon. Shortly after, I finally got enough pieces to modify BD-1, the blaster, and the lightsaber for a trophy. We fight the Raider boss here and give him a warrior's death. Then we gotta go back to Kobo. Again. Could they have done anything else to make Kobo more interesting, or at least? We need to scale the mountain and make our way to the floating station to fight and end Mr. One-Arm. Another meme trophy here in Catch for nuking 3 enemies at the same time with a single roller bomb. This area is kind of annoying, and makes liberal use of the upgraded grapple hook, which lets us launch ourselves between these grapple balloons. And apparently BD-1's hacking was locked to get the electro dart power, but you can't use BD-1 during combat for the most part, which is a big problem as there are multiple combat locking glitches that can lock you out from progressing, collecting, or just using BD-1 in general. During the climb, I also got another meme trophy, Get Down From There. Here we have the final showdown with Mr. One-Arm, who I'm calling Dagon for this encounter because he actually has his arm back thanks to the Force. He can also make shadow clones, and Bode can help a bit here. This was actually a pretty fun boss. We get the special MacGuffin compass and have to go back to freaking Jeddah. I don't understand how Jeddah is somehow better and worse than Kobo. I did take the time to equip the training headband and attack the dummy for another meme trophy, Cobra Cal, and get another meme trophy and Greasy Money. There's some lengthy scenes of everyone talking, which is kind of boring. Then we get to see Bode show his true colors as he blasts and murders Cordova, which was kind of expected. We then chase him in a pretty cool sequence, and find out that not only is Bode a traitor as predicted, he's also an ex-Jedi? How many Jedis survived fucking Order 66? We then are forced to play as Super BEB. She at least moves in a way that is confident, and we get the coolest boss fight in the game, BEB versus Darth Vader. Vader is hard and kind of annoying, because we can't switch our stances, sometimes the heavy attack doesn't do the lunge, and every quarter of health Vader loses, a lengthy cutscene plays. The ending is satisfying though, as Vader ends up slaying the bug-eyed bitch, so we don't have to put up with her for the rest of the game. Wait a minute. Oh, fuck! She could just come back as a Force ghost! No! Vader may have actually fucked up more now. So now we have to go hunt down the traitor Bode, at an Imperial base. The base is kinda small, but it has some funny moments of stuff like Cal trying to disguise himself. I get another meme trophy of Slam Dunk, and Cal begins to embrace the dark side. We decimate the base, but Bode somehow manages to get away, and Bode still has the compass. So we head back to Kobo again and align the arrays so that we can fly to the final area, Tanalorr. Tanalorr looks kinda neat, but is short and basically only has the arena for the final boss, Bode. Bode presents a decent challenge, combining jetpack flight, force powers, a blaster, and a lightsaber. But I push on through, and we can finally beat him, and make sure to kill him while his daughter watches. After a boring ending cutscene, and I'm going to pretend I didn't see her again, we now can get into the super grindy post game. Also, for some bafflingly ridiculous reason, the daughter now accompanies us everywhere, adding in all this extra dialogue. The first item on the list is getting the mullet for Cal, which, to me, doesn't look like a real mullet. And then with the Claymore stance equipped, we can drop kick an enemy for the meme trophy that, I shit you not, has to be a Family Guy reference.
Ha-ha! Roadhouse callback! Ha! Roadhouse callback!
I never saw Roadhouse.
It's about kicking! Ghost House.
Roadhouse.
Ghost Road.
House.
Road Ghost.
Then we get another meme trophy of There Is No Try for helping out a droid getting his ship out of tar. Exploring the Fong-Ki Caverns where I had gotten stuck in the wall, another meme trophy pops. It's a trap! Then using a new skill, One with the Force pops for avoiding 50 attacks with the auto dodge skill, which really sucks as an ability. It doesn't even dodge everything, and it costs a ton of force, so it's really not worth using. Then with some grinding, the garden is finally full for a trophy. More exploring nets us another meme trophy, finding a poncho from the first game for the trophy, A Presence I've Not Felt Since. I then proceed to upgrade 3 skill trees all the way. I get Star Tours for completing all Jedi chambers, one of which is hidden in a really annoying spot. Gambler for playing the surprisingly fun minigame of holo battles and winning every match. Pinpoint for using a special dual wield skill 10 times, which was just annoying. King of the World, yet another meme for reaching the highest point in Harvest Ridge, which was a huge pain. Perk of the Job for filling all 10 perk slots. Another meme trophy in Scuba Diving for having our buddy Scuba catch all 12 fish across the game for the Cantina's fish tank. Max capacity for putting every NPC into the Cantina, which is a pain as several optional areas exist just to house these lost NPCs. Blood, Sweat, and Tears for completing every Force tier, which are platforming or combat challenges that range from fun to just tedious and annoying, especially with the glitches. The most annoying trophy of Splurgle for having to find all 100 pieces of metal across several planets to purchase everything from Doma's shop, which for the longest time was glitched and had me fucking paranoid as hell because so many people reported only being able to get 98 or 99 of all 100 pieces, locking you out of the trophy and completion. And then finally getting the triple whammy for the fine and lengthy quest, fighting the last remaining boss of Cage the Bounty Hunter, who, when she goes down and gets taken away by Boba Fett, nets us the final 3 trophies for getting Boba Fett's attention, defeating all legendary adversaries, and filling out the tactical guide. At least that's what I would say if I hadn't forgot to fight the fucking golden scorpion in the fucking desert planet. So after I killed the scorpion, then the platinum finally popped and the game was finished. Somehow, despite having so much more, I didn't like this game as much as the first. There is a lot more tedious busy work that has to be done for the platinum. It is nice that fast travel was added, but the game lacks polish, with several glitches breaking my game, several flawed and questionable design choices, a poor story for the most part. Somehow, every character design was worse than the first game, and combat didn't feel as satisfying as the first. Why is the Claymore Saber treated as though it weighs 60 space kilos? Why does dual wielding not have good heavy attacks and instead focuses on worse counters? Why is there no fucking minimap or fucking compass? Why is the map, despite having the ability to place beacons, somehow worse than the first game? There is also so much more grind, making the game way more tedious to platinum. The platinum was even broken on launch, as several of the mineral pickups were glitched, meaning all 100 couldn't be collected. So because of the numerous glitches, potential data loss, the sheer grind and tedium, the platinum is a 3.65 out of 10. As for the patented Dan the Ranking Man ranking, the game gets a 55 out of 100. Despite the fun, the story is predictable, the glitches ruin too much, and what used to be fun turned to annoying tedium, filled with tons of fake and real loading screens. Like for the bounty hunt quests, for the most part, only one hunter shows up at a time, maybe 2 in the same location, meaning you have to get the quest from the cantina, leave the cantina after a fake loading screen, possibly go to the ship, have another fake loading screen on the ship, get to the planet, travel to the closest save spot, have another loading screen, fight the bounty hunter, travel back to the ship, wait in the ship, get back to motherfucking Kobo, wait to enter the cantina, and then repeat the cycle. This takes forever to do, where the fights are the shortest part of this process. And sometimes the enemies just don't spawn where they're supposed to. The tedium of this game really got to me, along with the total bullshit. The one redeeming quality is how many of these trophies are memes. So let's see how bad the Sword Art Online games are. Stay tuned to see what that looks like. Like and subscribe, and remember, only losers thought Bode wasn't going to betray us. His intentions were clear from the intro.